While the race for the White House might get most of the attention this November in Kentucky, there will be a clash of the classrooms. Fancy Farm is often remembered for its zingers and one-liners, but it's also considered the unofficial kickoff to the election season. Between the barbs, there was plenty to say about the upcoming amendment on school funding. The debate over allowing any state public funding to go to institutions outside of the school district, those usually being referred to as charter schools, is a long and complicated one in Kentucky. It's led to court battles over its constitutionality. That's put us where we're at today.
This amendment is nothing more than a Hail Mary attempt to revive failed like policies, voucher policies that Kentuckians don't want, our students don't need, and the courts have thankfully blocked.
Half of our kids in the state of Kentucky cannot read at grade level. That's an embarrassment, an embarrassment. A third of them are not proficient in math.
Now, charters were legally authorized in 2017, but to date, not a single one operates in Kentucky. Legislative efforts to create a funding mechanism have, as recently as 2022, remained blocked by the courts over their constitutionality. So we heard a bit from you right there, Representative Stevenson. So let's start with you there.
Okay.
We didn't hear about it in that soundbite, but we're hearing a lot on the trail about vouchers from your side on this particular issue. Whenever a voter is hearing that, I mean, what are they supposed to be hearing whenever you're talking about vouchers? Because to me, what is a voucher?
Well, a lot of people would classify it as the money should follow the student rather than going into the public school system. But we believe that that would alienate a lot of children. We have most of our 120 counties do not have a private school. So essentially, Western and Eastern Kentucky would be losing money coming into their public schools that would then probably be spent on private schools in the Golden Triangle. So I grew up in Eastern Kentucky. My mom was a teacher. I know how important public schools are to our rural communities. It is the heart of those communities. Friday night lights are very important there. It is the social thing to do, all of the sports around our public schools. And I think that it would decimate them. A lot of them are struggling anyway, and so we can't be taking money from them so wealthy people in the Golden Triangle can send their kids to private school.
How do you feel about this, Representative Moser?
Yeah, I mean, we're just looking at a constitutional amendment which would allow legislators to even weigh in. Right now, we can't even weigh in on behalf of our constituents who really want a choice. They really want to be able to educate their child in the manner that best fits their family. And right now, we can't even do that because our Constitution says that public money can only fund public schools. All we want to say is, all we want to do is to amend the Constitution to allow for some ideas, some creativity. I mean, we are surrounded by states, all of whom, 7 states, all of whom have a school choice program of some sort. And so that gives families the freedom to educate, like I said, their child in the best manner for that child. Not every child learns the same. And so I feel like it's really important to at least allow the legislature to weigh in on behalf of the constituents. And we're not talking about vouchers per se. I mean, there are a lot of ideas. There are educational opportunity accounts, and those would be scholarships specifically for low-income families. So there are a lot of things that we can negotiate later in legislation, but right now this is just allowing us to even weigh in.
Well, and I think the big thing and the reason that we have seen a lot of other states do it is because they were not as fortunate as Kentucky has been in having such a strong constitutional requirement for public dollars to go to public schools. Our Constitution says that we must fund a system of common schools, and if this amendment passes, it asks the people to not withstand seven sections of our Constitution. And I just think that is way too much. It's asking too much. We've seen other states do it. Florida just reported they are now spending $1.2 billion.
They have a much larger population. Theirs is set up very, very differently.
But their kids are also, they're using those dollars for TVs, for tickets to
there are
Disney.
ways.
I mean,
Now,
it's ridiculous. It's
I know,
out of
but
hand.
we can talk about how you set up guardrails and put guardrails around certain legislation. I mean, certainly that's nothing that we want to happen, and we have more fully funded public schools. That's not going to change. We will continue to fund public schools. I went to a public school. There are a lot of public schools who do a great job. But we need, I think it's very clear in the schools or in the states, okay, who have a school choice option that competition is making schools, private or public schools, better. And that's what we want for all students.
Well, I just believe if we can find the money to put into private schools, then we could fully fund transportation. We could fully fund
which we did this year.
Well, we did
for the most,
it was actually not 100% because it was based on the previous year. But we could give our teachers raises. We could give school staff raises. There are so much that we could do.
But we did. We allocated that money for raises, and it's up to the school district. So I mean, we can get into the details, but
we'll unfortunately have to leave it right there, ladies. There will be a lot to talk about with this particular issue between now and November, and when the next budget comes up too.
Perfect.